Hey, welcome to Vice Grip Garage. A guy decided to buy this car sight unseen, found her on the face space. It's a 1971 Buick Riviera. She's a boat-tail flavor. Car's been off the road for 30 years. So I'm gonna do the right thing and just try to fire it up and drive it about 70 miles home. That seems fine. Nope, bad idea. Sounds like I'm in the middle of a zoo or something around here. Things squawking. In the Buick world, this is actually a highly sought after vehicle. It's considered a third gen Riviera. But what makes this one special is it's got some 1 year only features. Mainly the louvers on the rear deck lid, them went away in '72. It's got a little bit different grille and probably the best front and rear bumpers from the third generation, in my opinion. It's also got a 455, or should, turbo 400 transmission and the Buick Maxtrack rear. You know, you got to get that power just digging in. I think they only made about 33,000 of this year and probably the same for 72, maybe 73. They got to looking pretty weird in 74. I don't know. They didn't make a lot of them is what I'm saying. And this is probably the one that's sought after the most. Yeah. So the plan is, I don't have one. I guess we could just start by looking at it, see what we got, pop the hood, see if there's something there, and then we'll just start, you know, formalizing or whatever you're supposed to do when you do things. We'll hook our peepers around the exterior of the vehicle, and then we'll try to find some keys, I guess, and get in the trunk. I like to start in the trunk because if there's a water pump or a head, maybe a rotating assembly, kind of eases you into what kind of nightmare you're going to have under the hood here. And in most cases it's accurate, and I'm talking like 87.92%. So this car hasn't been sitting here the whole time. It was actually sitting over there in the driveway for so long that it sank through the asphalt. The family was going to rebuild it, and like most, you start getting into rust and some other things, and life gets in the way and you just never get around to it. But some sort of light tan, beige, brownish, and then underneath that it had some sort of butterscotchy, yellowish, tannish color. Appears to be complete, I guess. It's got the nice big Buick rallies on it, so those are period correct, and I'm sure they're original for this car. But this section here is what makes this car so unique and sought after. The windshield, this is very reminiscent and inspired by the '63 Corvette. So now you could picture one of those in your brain box there. And then these here are the louvers I was talking about. It's 1 year only, 71. They got rid of these in '72. I think these are really cool. This is my favorite year, 71. I actually have another 71 that's a dark brown. I think it's got all 3 badge laters on it. Missing some trim here. Maybe it's in the trunk. I don't know. I don't know. Had a vinyl top. Smartly that was taken off, otherwise this just really starts to rot in here, and that looks not too bad. Little pinhole there. A little bit of weight reduction. Not horribly bad though. Frame looks like it's there. Tire looks really good. More weight reduction there. Not too baddish down here. Oh, well, maybe just a tickle of weight reduction there. Could be an ankle vent. We'll have to wait and see what the inside looks like. Too bad the grill's got a wallop in her. Odd rust here for some reason. This side's not so bad. Same spot in the door. What happens in these big Buicks, stuff falls in here and it works its way down to the bottom, gets packed in here, especially like leaves and needles and stuff like that, and they get wet and she just eats away down there. This is actually for racing. Scoops air and cools the brakes down. That's pretty neat. Factory option. You can order them that way. Oh boy, got some floppage on that one. So I don't know. It's rusty, but I've seen worse for sure. It's definitely salvageable. We'll have to see what the floorboards are doing. Could be Flintstone model, maybe just some ankle vents. Hard to say. Let's see if we can find the keys, because I don't have them. And we'll get in the trunk and we'll start there. I do believe I just found the keys right there. But, you know, there's that. I wonder if a guy can get in this way. Oh, he can. Oh. No, no, nope. All right, just click in, get the key, get out. Oh, the seat just crunched in my hand. Whew. Yeah, I think I'm gonna let that just leave open for a little bit. Whew. Trunkalization, engaged. Oh, she's full. Plumb full of stuff. Well, I can see the grass in several different areas. That's fine. Oh boy. I better get you in here, because we got a lot. There's some things going on in here. Is that a spare tire? I'll be dipped. It's got tread even. Huh. Look at this. Grill replacement. We got door panelage, wood grain. Dash parts. I guess I didn't even look at that yet. More door panelage. More door panelage. It's heavy. I'm gonna get this out before it gets broken. Very cool. Bunch of trim. Front headlight bezels. Hey, that's I think that's the rear window trim. Get this stuff out too. Over there maybe. They don't have ventilation like this anymore between the chaps cooler. Them were nice. Ooh, we got some boom booms. 6x9s in there. Get this trim out. Don't want to bend it up. That sounds really crunchy, so I'm not going to lift it up. Oh boy. Yeah. Little light in the shorts there. Some seat belts. You don't need them up front. The original jack that's broken, that adds at least $1.50 in value. So I don't know. Overall, it's, you know, bad. So that's good. This is what just rots cars out. Doesn't matter what make or model. All that stuff gets in the whatever this is called, the thing around the rubber stuff, and it just eats it alive. We're probably going to find a lot more of that in the doors. Well, we did not locate any engine parts, which is, you know, that's good. There's just the interior to 14 cars. That's fine. Got some parts. Speaking of interior, let's jump in, see what we got going on in there, find some clues, and then we'll finally open the power barn and see what kind of chance we got making it home today. So far, I mean, nothing says we couldn't, right? It smells like burnt applesauce and mulch in here, and it is really sick. What's not helping it is it's 96 degrees and rising. Is that a boy band? Probably not. Anyway, might not be warm to you, but for Minnesotans, that's called death, basically. We're not sure how do you deal with it, basically. I think I should get the other door open, because it's just all wafting this way. I think we got some literatures in here. And we do. Riviera book. We got some sort of restoration guides. This one might be cool. Hold on, I'm getting there. Just be patient a little bit. Chassis service manual. And it is like a New York phone book. Look at that. She's a thick one. We might need this today. Got some parts in here. Bulb. That's good. Blanker fluid can't be right. Sparkulator plugs. What year was this? 1982? Well, the plugs were changed before I was born, so that's good. You know, they might still be good. Probably not. Let's keep going. What else we got? What is this? What is this thing? Fabrication. I know that sound. Probably lower quarter panels or something like that. No need to open it because we're not going to be doing that today. There's really nothing else in here besides a severe amount of mold. So I'm going to do the right thing and just climb in. All them door panel parts must be for that, I'm guessing. If you watch that video where I pulled the Cadillac out of that field, had basically all the same mold in here. And it took us a lot of work to get this smell out. I mean, it was thick. We got some mices and mices. Hello! If you're home, you gotta leave now. I don't know where they're at. Ooh, new wiper blades. I mean, they're 30 years old, but we'll put them on. We got the really, really sticky horn section, also severely covered in black mold. So I'm going to keep that, put that back there. There's a dead animal of some kind. Not quite sure. We'll leave it alone. Oh, the tumbler's missing in the column. That's good. That'll help us get home. I'm going to quick dive across and get this other side open. You can hear the seat crunching as I touch it. It's so dry. There we go. It's fine. Just keep going. Ooh, it's got factory door lock knob on her. Blue. Yeah, boy, it has been sitting a long time. See, this is where all that stuff falls. It gets down into the lower fenders in the door and just eats it up. Oh, another ant infested car. Oh, that's great. Got some white mold or something in there. Flip these forward, button up here. There we go. Oh, more mold. That's fine. What is in this, I wonder? Empty. Wonder if we got any fishing lures. Let's check it out. And starting fluid. So, hard starting and probably a dead cylinder is what that's telling us. That's great. Oh, there's the tumbler. So maybe it's not stolen? Okay. Deck lid looks pretty good back there, actually. These here are supposed to hang up there somewhere. Oh. Well, oh, okay. So, alright. That's fine. Don't think you need them. How many miles we got? 68,425. I don't know if I believe it. Maybe though. Dash is, you know, that's cracked pieces. Wonder why the, I suppose getting the ignition out. Oh, great. This is the ignition switch. It usually sits up in the column. When you turn the key, it moves a rod, I believe. Yeah, right in here by my thumb. So that's fine. See the brake pedal here? It's not 68,000. That's 168,000. There's no way I would wear that much. And the gas pedal with just 68,000 miles. So 168,000. If it does run, it's probably not going to be the greatest, but it is a Buick. They'll pretty much run forever with just some basic maintenance. Is that a cassette player? Stereo 2 band. Oh, it was already almost full volume. That's good. We're gonna have to definitely check that out. Heavily smoked in. That's great. Pop the hood while I'm over here. That did pop actually. But let's go see what's in the glove box first. The smell has not ceased. Insurance card. What is this? What is it? What do we got? Okay. Whole bunch of fuses. I'm seeing a common issue here with the is that a neutral safety switch? I'm not sure. Looks like it. Really nothing else in there. All right. Well, it is that time. Let's get the power barn open. See how many horses we got in here. Yes, still has a 455. Looks complete-ish, but it is covered in just dirt and leaves and, well, 30 years of stuff. Oh no, it's got a Fram filter. So this here 455 would have had 315 gross horsepower. They changed it to net horsepower, I think, in 73 or 74, which was like 255, I think. Not sure. Probably right. But anyway, it propelled this big boat 0 to 60 in about 8 seconds. Back then, that was moving. Even today, you get a car this big moving that quick. Pretty impressive. I'll get you in here and we'll hook our peepers on it a little bit closer. She's even got the windshield wiper motor still. Huh. Dual horns, triple horns, quadruple horns. What is going on in here? Well, first thing, let's just get in here. 1, 2, 3, 4 horns. Oh, be dipped. Radiator's leaking. Hose is in it. Still got the fan blade. I mean, it looks really complete, actually. All the way through. I don't see... We know the car's got mice in it, but normally they get into the sparkulators and all the digital stuff. So I'm not really seeing that yet. Oh, a little bit back there, but we don't need that. It's got a battery in it. Hopefully that's good. That's been shortened up about 87 times. Custom trans cooler line. Belt is rock hard. It's got a fuel make it happener in there. It's bolted down to something. Cruise end control. Not even going to step on the brake pedal until we try to get this thing fired up. And if it runs, transmission, do we at least got first gear and park? That'd be good enough, you know. And then brakes. It's kind of just a add-on convenience. Well, I'm going to take this air cleaner lid off, see what we got going on under that. Should have a 4-barrel quadra-junk in here, which is fine with me. They're usually really resilient and don't take a lot to get going. That looks like another Fram filter. Really old. Yeah. What do we got here? Remanufactured in Canada. Huh. So the fuel make it happener, I don't know when. It's got a rebuilt tag on her. It's not locked up. Everything's working. Of course, the choke spring is not hooked up. Them never work anyway. Gives me a closer look here though. I mean, everything is here. You make wind with your mouth, you know, and it. Well, this is dirtier than a Nicki Minaj video altogether, but it's all here, which is good. See that tag? Remanufactured. That probably just saved us a ton of heartache. They already went through that issue. The old Frigidaire pump is still on it. Really tight. I guess the next step is, before we get too carried away here now, let's get a wrench down here on the crank and see if the engine even rolls over. Make sure that it spins freely and that we can rotate it a full 360 degrees, and that'll make sure we don't have any stuck valves or valve train. Or sometimes the ridges get in the cylinder walls and the piston will move, but it'll hit that ridge and get stuck. Don't just go boop and think that, hey, we're good to go, because it might just trick on you. Well, lo and behold it, the old hobo freight toolkit doesn't have a socket big enough. So I'm going to do the right thing and take a hitch ball wrench here and hook it onto the charging whirler, press down on the belt with about 82 foot-pounds of force. And then when I spin this over, it should turn the crank down there as well. And it does. And it's still doing it. More of the same, except I just slipped the adjust-o-matic on the charging whirler. Now the belt's floppy. Speaking of belts, I didn't bring another one of them, so hopefully that just doesn't explode if it runs. Suppose the guy could check on some fluids here, see what we got going on. Ah, dark brown. Smells like branding cattle and severely overfilled. So I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that. Put that back over there. As far as the oil goes, wow, lots of gas in that. Like a lot. So someone has tried to start this girl many times. And often what happens is all that fuel just ends up in the crankcase down there. Based on the plug Fowler upper 9000, the laughing gas back there, and a bunch of fuel in the oil, everything's looking really good so far, you know? Well, the guy reckons at this point, we might as well figure out if I can even get this thing to twirl over based on the fact there's no ignition tumbler and we got wires hanging out of the column. I'm sure I'm going to have to throw a battery in it, and then we'll see if we can at least get it to turn over and crank just for a second. And if that happens, then we'll figure out, we got lightning? I don't know. And then the fuel system and everything else. But let's just make sure it cranks over, and then we can start going. I think there's a list or something that you're supposed to do. I don't know. We'll figure it out, okay? I guess a guy should have paid closer attention to Fast and the Furious, the 22nd one. They just reach down and go zzz, zzz, and the car runs, you know. But I don't think that's how it works in real life. Maybe. I'm not saying movies are fake, you know. But there's this thing in here I know it's supposed to slide. I don't know what this is, but this might work. Just gonna jam it in here. Yeah, see? So if I go left, I could feel a resistance like you would when you turn the key and then you let go, it comes back to run. And then that must be off. And AC, whatever. It's one where you twirl it backwards. Okay, let's throw a battery in it and see if something happens. There's another dead creature in the back. That's fine. Get this guy out. Go on and get out of here. Oh, the tray is just comes out in bits. That seems fine. Just leave them in there. The guy does not like buying new batteries, but when I do, you better believe there's words like extreme in it. It's also got to have a goal handle and be on sale. This one checked all the boxes. Oh, almost hit the ground there. We're going to perform what's called a fire test once I get this on. And I call it that because basically we're smelling and looking for fire. Cars that sit like this one 30 years, whatnot. Wires get eaten and they can short out and sparklate, and next thing you know, you got a big old pallet bonfire going and you're 6 cases deep into some wobble pops with your neighbors. So just, you know, breathe it in when you connect it. Here we go. No sparks, no fire yet. Maybe we're good. Nothing feels hot. Well, everything is actually going pretty good so far. Well, I'm going to grab my key here again and try this again. I got a generator light. No radio. Dang it. Here we go. It did. And then the fan started all of a sudden. How do you turn that off? Let's do it again. Cranking over just fine. So that should work if I can crank it with the key, also known as this headliner bow, then gently slide it back to the run position. That way the lightning can still has some storm maker to it. Then technically it should run. I wonder if a guy shouldn't just throw some fire maker right down the yap and just see if it barks off. Yep, let's do that. But first, let's disconnect the fuel pump. My imaginaries are telling me the fuel tank is either completely dry and full of rust and dirt, or if there's a little bit of anything left in it, it's going to be that deck stain, maple syrup, varnish stuff. And we don't want to pull that into the fuel pump and ruin it, because I don't have another one. And we don't want to pull it into the fuel make it happener, because I also didn't bring a kit for that. So that's great. So this guy here is going to be a 3 hose variety. You got one coming up here, of course, and then you're going to have a feed line which feeds it, and then you're going to have a return line which returns it. So basically the fuel make it happener is going to take the pressure it needs. Anything over that, the pump just sends it right back to the tank. The bigger one is always the inlet. That's the one we need to disconnect, so then we can crank it over and it's not going to suck anything up here. That's the plan anyway. There's that meese bites on there. Got pretty darn lucky though. What is this here? That's factory, I'm sure. Okay, what was I doing? Something with, oh yeah, fuel pump. Can't see nothing down here, you little stubborn devil. Why don't you just come off? Oh, there we go. Ooh, we got a little bit of spillage, and it's black with chunks in it. So that's good. Got the line disconnected, and you can just smell the varnish. I mean, she's coming in like a 6-bottom plow. Next thing, I'm just gonna test for spark really quick. We could just throw some fire maker down it and twist it, and if it runs, it runs, but I don't want to sit here and crank on it forever. Being this has points, it only takes 2 minutes. I'm just gonna pop the lightning whirler off, go down and look at the contacts. Hopefully the cam and the lightning whirler there is right on an edge where I could just rock the rotor back and forth where it's going to open and close those contacts. And we should either see or hear some sparkleization in there, and that'll at least let us know we got lightning to that point. Throw that back on, then we'll put some juice down it. Wonder what Clint Black's doing today. Oh, a bunch of spider eggs in there. That's fine. So the equipment in here appears to be in pretty darn good shape. I'm thinking whoever tried to get it running maybe got in here who knows how many years ago. But keep your eye right in here. Keep it open back in there. Did you see that? So I don't know if you guys can see it, but she's got spark in there. So now I can just throw that back on or shoot some juice down her and see if it makes some noise. I'm wanting to get this running as cheap as possible, but if it does make some noise here, I got some sparkulators. We'll at least put those in, but we'll leave the lightning hoses on it unless one's burnt or not firing right. And then I also got some Earl. We'll change on the Earl because, you know, it's full of gas and 842 years old. Okay, here we go. This is gas from my grandpa's riding mower, so I know that's at least 15 years old. Yep. And then this is just some 2-cycle oil. I like to mix the two when you're spraying fuel make it happeners down. Unless you're in a pickle, and a bad one, about the worst thing you can do is just start spraying carb clean or brake clean down these. This is going to help lubricate the top end there, the rings and whatnot. Keep the cylinder walls just, you know, it's better. It's better for it, is what I'm saying. Does it work? That's. Nope. How about now? Do I got like a squirt mode? And I don't know. That seems like way too much. Perfect. All right, we know we got spark. We know it rolls over. If I can hold my headliner bow just right, it just might make some noise here. There it went. Starter is not happy. More fire maker? I don't know. Sure, something like that. Bring the thunder. She's a runner. Yes. Lots of valve train noise, but that's to be expected till it builds oil pressure. I know you could tell by the look on my face, but a guy's really happy. 455, it's gonna be a runner. Of course, it only ran for 2.1 seconds. Hard to say if there's any knocking or anything like that. The valve train is a little clattery, but it probably hasn't even built oil pressure yet. Plus the oil that's in it is basically gasoline. So there's you know, there's that too. But I think it's worth the time and money now to change the oil. We'll put some fresh sparkulators in it, and then we'll hook up a temporary fuel system, and you know, let's just get this thing idling, maybe see what kind of shape it's in. Then we can move on to, do we have first gear? Maybe another one. Anything better than 4 neutrals is what I'm saying. Well, the jack should go in the earth about 7 feet, but maybe lift the car 1. I brought a really thin, brittle piece of plywood that would break in half if I put the jack on it, but didn't have the clearance. Ground's pretty solid, actually. This might just work. What's the frame look like? Oh, sure, good enough. Always kind of a dance to get these boats out of the ground. I just like to shoot the jack underneath and start lifting. It's either going to go up or bend, one of the two. Whoops. Speaking of bending, something is. We'll just keep going. Hopefully I can get stand under the control arm. And that way a guy can get his belly under here, you know. I don't know. How's that? Good. We'll do the death shake test. Ooh. C+ at best. I'll leave the jack under there. That way the rescue team can pull my body out easier when it falls. Huh. These 455s require a special tool for the drain plug, and that's a vice grip. Here we go. Here we go now. Ready? Not down the armpit, Derek. Hits! Lots of gas. And chunks. What do we got on the Mega Mimp? Since these are dangling, guy hooked his peepers in them. And you know, normally I drive on these, but I gotta go down the highway. And I just don't think these Goodyears are gonna cut it. I did bring 2 tires that are decent. They're off my 68 Le Sabre. And I thought I would be fine with that because it's 2 more than I usually have. But the rears are in the same exact condition. So this is going to get interesting if this thing runs and goes down the highway. I'll put my 2 decent ones up front, and I guess carry these 2 as spares, and then we have 4 tires to blow out, maybe 5, because this one's got the most tread on it. So I don't know, we'll just have to see what happens. But I'm going to swap these out super quick since it's already up in the air. They're not locked up. That's good news. Definitely hear them dragging, but 90-mile-per-hour blast will clean that right up. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Well, you know, everything looks fine, but I suppose I should go ahead and fix these brake pads. There, that's all rejuvenated and basically brand new. The rubber on these is actually brand new. Yep. Oh, are they not fiddling? No, can't be. Well, these Buicks and their stubborn everything. Oh, is this a rear wheel? Looks like it. You get out of here. Let's try this one. Yeah, that one doesn't have the... There's a ring on the inner side. You know what I'm saying. Maybe we could pound it out. Probably not. So we've got 1 good tire then. Seems fine. Oh yeah. Well, a guy got that fram off there just as fast as I could. Gonna throw on a Wix, of course. A couple reminders. Get the date on there and the miles. Makes it easier for the next guy to guess what's going on. Make sure you're not double stacking your gaskets. You could be in a world of hurt. And then lube up that O-ring a little bit before you put her in. And don't, just snug it You don't have to get it tighter than the penitentiary. Guys got her back down to earth now. Gonna throw some Earl in there, pop the cap off, and you can see it's completely dry in there, and just verifies it has not been run in many years since there's been oil on the top end. That's all that clanking and banging. Hopefully it'll build pressure in 5 seconds or so, 5-10 seconds, and start lubricating that top end. We might have to keep firing it up and shutting her back down. Today's flavor of oil is Shell Rotella T6 1540 heavy duty diesel oil. It's got a semi on it. Being halfway serious, it's got all them vitamins and dinosaurs and stuff you need for these old flat tappet cams. And in fact, it has 1200 ppm, which is identical as a lot of the racing and hot rod oils out there, but it's half the price, fellers. My final quart is going to be this Hyperlube. Eliminates dry starts. That'd be good. Reduces friction. And it's got a flag and stuff on it. I like that. I'm going to take this, dump it into this one, because this one's got about a quart left in her, and it'll shake on it, and then hopefully she flows better, you know. This is a crunchy bottle. I had no idea this engine was that high a miles, so this actually is going to do quite a bit of good. Hits! Yep. Wonder if there's a VFW around here. Getting hungry. Put some of this maple syrup in. Oh yeah, she's flowing right in. Still plenty to do, even if this thing runs. We still don't know if the head gaskets are any good, or if they're going to hold in there, if it makes any oil pressure, if the radiator holds any juice. Let's just keep, you know, not thinking about it. Got my Lone Wolf 9000 rig out here. Basically what we're going to do is just use this as a pony tank. We're going to succulate some fuel right from here into the pump, make sure the fuel pump works, and get this engine running. And this will be plenty of fuel to tune her up and also check the transmission out. Then we can make a decision based on how gooder or worser this is, if we're going to run this as a tank or the stock tank. The stock tank is probably in pretty rough shape. This does have a return on it if we need. I could throw this in the passenger seat or something and run 87 feet of hose, and this won't get us very far, but I think I do got another 5-gallon jug. We can just fuel while cruising down the highway. So now I'm going to lift it up for the 13th time and just connect this to the inlet to the fuel pump and see if we can get this thing to run on its own without spraying juice down the fuel, make it happen. That's all plugged in and clampulated up. It's able to prime on it just by blowing in the return. By the way, this will run fuel pump, ignition, and the starter if you just hook all the gidgemawoos up. But in this case, we don't need all the flavors. I just need some fuel for now, and we'll keep using our headliner bow to get it fired up. If it starts being real picky, then we might at least get the starter button hooked up. I'm gonna fill the fuel bowl here. No idea if we've got an accelerator pump. Unlikely, highly. But it'll help if it does run. A couple sprays. Okay. Here we go. Bring the thunder. No way, is it gonna sit here and idle? It is. Oh, I wish I had an oil pressure gauge. It's still clacking. It's idling right now. Unbelievable. Still a lot of clacking. Come on, old girl. Build some oil pressure pieces. Boy, I don't know how much longer I want to run this. It's really not happy. It idled. It idled. I just don't believe it. But I guess I got to. I'm looking right at it. Decades sitting around here. Fires right up. Sits here and idles. Doesn't like the throttle. Accelerator pump. You know. She exited quite a while ago. Also not building oil pressure, it seems like. She's knocking like a Jehovah's Witness. But I think we should fire it up again and just hope that the knocking at least just quiets down a little bit. Sounds like a stuck lifter. It's really not that big of a deal. We just don't want to get a bunch of RPM in it and wipe out a cam lobe or something like that. So being it doesn't have an accelerator pump, give her a couple more sprays and fire it up. Headliner, engage. Oh, did I unhook the headliner? Let's try it again. I could try pump it. I don't think it's going to do anything. Fuel pump might not be pumping. Come on now. Well, for Pete's sake, that should be enough. Well, for crying in the rain, that's way too much. Perfect. Blow by is really bad, but them rings still got to come back around, you know. You know, one of the mustard squirters work really good for this. I just didn't bring one, but you can get that right down the vent tube. Nice and snazzy. Oh no. Will that ever come back? Now what happened? Did I spray a leak in this now? Wow, I just never seen such Mickey Mouse. There you go. There you go. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, we ain't got no fuel pump. I wonder if a guy could run the electrodigital pump into the manual pump. I think that's what we're gonna do. Sometimes that diaphragm is just crispy in there. You gotta juice it up a little bit so it starts pumpulating. So this is all rigged up and all I got to do is flip the switch. There we go. So I'm going to flip this on, juice it, and with any luck, the manual one will start working again. We're not really going to know. We'll let it run off of this for a little bit and then we'll reconfigure this. Headliner going hot. Headliner going hot again. It's going to be a little tricky without an accelerator pump, because it's still not doing it. I wonder if we got a stuck needle in there. Let me get my precision needle adjuster. Come on now. There we go. Hear this just change? Tone? Now we got accelerator pump. So all she was a stuck needle. Now she'll run. There we go. Oh, hey, that lifter went away. She ain't knocking like that. Looks like a freight train though, just blow by coming out of here like crazy. starting to sound pretty good now. When the guy was adjusting on it, you know, tickle, tickle, heard the fuel pump change tones, and then I could actually hear the bowl filling, so that needle was just stuck. Normally I just hit them first. I don't know. I must like it too much already. Anywho's, I'm gonna reconfigure it to the fuel pump that's on board. We'll pop the radiator cap off, throw some juice in it, see if the thermostat's stuck. It will be. And then on to seeing how all the gaskets come back around. When they sit this long, you gotta just cross your fingers and 3 toes that them head gaskets are gonna reseat up, and all the oil stuff, gaskets, rear main, things like that, they get really crispy. So you gotta cook them nice and good, get them nice and hot, see what kind of leaks we got. Hopefully it doesn't overheat, anything like that. Oh, this is on here. Use my radiator cap adjuster tool. There we go. Whoa, it's got juice in it. I mean, there's leaves and stuff floating in here. That's fine. Well, we know that doesn't leak, so that's great news. Done. What's next? Oh, fuel pump. That's right. Fuel pump seems to be working. Fired right back up. Keep an eye on that. So we've still got a lot of blow by. And look at this smoke back here. Pretty excessive. Actually, really bad. So that tells us the engine's pretty tired, or the rings are just sticky. We're gonna give her an Italian tune-up here in a little bit, once we get some heat in it and we make sure that it stays cool. And that'll bring them rings back around, if there's any left to be brought around. Well, she's been idling roughly for about 3 minutes now. Thermostat's probably about to open. Nope, that's stuck. I'm gonna move on to the Italian tune-up, throw some of this Berryman B12 in it. It's made of dragon tears and tornadoes. Clean up that combustion chamber, free up them sticky rings. See if we can get the smoking down just a little bit. The good news though, the mosquitoes are just, they're gone. Nowhere to be seen. She's tuned. Still running a little rough, but slightly better. But look at this. 98% of the smoke is gone. So the rings did come back around with the old tune-up there. That's great news. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes here, see if the thermostat's gonna open. It's starting to jump and bubble a little bit. Well, let's see. Yeah, it's about 180 degrees, 190, so should be any second now that'll open up. We've already used quite a bit of fuel. It's down to here. I think the guy is going to go ahead and change on the sparkulators, even though it's already running. She's running pretty rough, and I want to see if that smoking issue we got out the tail lips is something that's been there for quite some time. We'll be able to tell. So we'll snap a couple off, trying to get these rusty seized sparkulators out. But I'm going to wait, because this is 9 or 10 million degrees now, so we can do some other stuff while we're waiting for that to cool down. One of them is, I got to get these winders down. It is hot and ain't getting cooler. I got my headliner turned on to ACK mode. I got no winders. Even these switches. I thought maybe it's fuse. Sure enough, one's blown. So I'm going to take out the clock that doesn't work and snagglize that fuse into the winders. and see if we can get these puppies rolled down. There's the blowed up one. All right, nothing, 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 nothing there too? Come on, did it already blow? Well, I think I got the winders figured out. We don't have power into the switch, so there's something else going on in there. I don't have a digital meter or a test light, so what I did was use this clicky-clack pump, and if I grounded it out and applied it to power, she'd run. So I was able to test that I didn't have power there. So then I grabbed the battery and I grounded that to the body, made sure there's a body ground from the battery up there. And you cut these long enough to where you can twist them around on themselves and they'll hang onto the posts like that. Now, if I take the positive end, one of these wires should be up and the other should be down for each of the windows. So let's test this thing out, see if it works. Yep. There we go. Down, up, down. Nice. Can we get the back one? All right, so purple is down in the back. What about the other side? Yep, she's going. Slow. I better ease off of that one. Then I think brown was down in the front. Yep. There. Now a guy ain't gonna suffocate in here and whatnot. Goodness. How hot's the engine still? Ouch. It's still hot. So now, maybe we should figure out the fuel system. I don't know if we dare go off the tank. I mean, this one's been sitting a long time. That Lewisburg, I can't remember how many years that was sitting. And I took the gamble of using the tank in the rear because I needed the capacity. And I got like 1 filter per 11 miles. It was bad. This one, see, I got to go 70, 75 miles. Say it gets 7 miles to the gallon, or even 10 miles to the gallon. This is going to be cutting it really close at 4.5 gallons. But I could maybe throw it up in the passenger seat and then we just pull off halfway there and top it off. I can carry some fuel. I got a 5-gallon jug. We just throw that back here. Maybe that's going to be the better way than on the side of the road putting filters in. Also, I'm going to put the other good tire on the drinker side rear, so the bad ones are on the captain side. That way when the tires blow out, when we pull over to the side of the road, we got concrete and traffic, so that'll be fine. This one had air in it, this one has air in it, that one's flat, so I figured we'd just go that route. Still gonna ignore the steering wheel and broken steering column, and I have no idea if this is even gonna turn the wheels, but we'll wait on that stuff. Normally I use a boat tank for this, but it's in a temporary permanent location underneath my Lewisburg, so I got that laying on the floor. But look at this custom hose work, and then it swoops down on the inside of the fender, so the hood's gonna close all the way, fellers. Comes across, lays on some really hot stuff right down by the manifold here, and then back in there's two because there's a feed and a return, and I got a filter on both of them. But this right here, that's all it's going to show, so it's going to keep our coppage level down a little bit, hopefully. So that should take care of the fuel issue. No idea if it's charger laden because I don't have my meter, but I guess we'll find out. I'll just carry another battery. But I think we're to the point now. Let's set this thing all the way on the ground and see if we got some sort of gears. The only thing I got to do really quick is swap this tire in the rear fast, put that other one on, and then we'll see if this thing moves. Some of the heat and moisture is getting out of here. You used to be able to just bite it, but it's getting a little bit better. No, it's still barely manageable. I've been working on the railroad. Nope. Literally never have. Well, what size is this now? Not this one. Got 17 different size lug nuts. 7/8. Can't be. They got tomatoes coming in? Yeah, they do. They do. These need some water displacement on the 40th try, I think. Everything's coming apart. Wow. Yep. Ooh, mouse nest on top of the drum. That's neat. Should I look at the brakes? Let's not open that can of beans. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Here we go now. Are you kidding me? No, I can't because of the flange again. I ain't gonna make it on tires. Am I? Well, let's try to bolt them up anyway. I don't know. Can we keep torquing them down? Yes. Yep. Well, the time is here. Oh, ooh. Better get the floor checker in. No floor left. Okay. Now is the time. In other words, the time is upon us. In other words, chicken cassadilla, extra chicken. Let's see if this thing's got any gears. Boy, she fires right up now. Reverse. Positive reversage. Neutralis. There's no neutral. Did I go right over it? Well, there's neutral. We had drive too. It wants to go. Oh yeah. Ooh. Brake pedal? Hey, something's there. I mean, the right blinker comes on when I hit it, but it makes a noise, which means vacuum assist is working. Does it hold it? I've got more brakes than I've ever had in my life in this thing. What is going on? Radio? Still doesn't work. Get my headliner and turn it off. There we go. Well, this is a going to town rig. Guy's finally on to the sparkulators here. Burned my hand 15 times, got 2 out. She's running richer than Bill Gates, heavily sooted. And these are also the old school AC Delcos. You could tell because of the way that they are. The font on that is different, and it's a different color green. These are from the 80s at best. There are 44 TS's. TS is tapered seat, and 44 is kind of in the middle of the heat range. Typically when I buy sparkulators on old rigs like this, I always get them hotter than what they typically ran because we assume they're all carboned up and such. So a hotter plug is going to help clean some of the deposits and what have you is out of the power pumpers there. But I'll keep moseying down the line. I would guess that if they're that old, these lightning hoses are probably just as old as well. But I didn't bring any of that stuff. I was in such a hurry to get here. Boat tails. It's not every day you snag one of these, Yeah, it's 14 torques. Lightning hoses are also different colors. So instead of replacing a whole set, a guy, or could have been a girl, they just replaced one at a time. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, it's same story. Junk. Another thing you really, really got to pay attention to is the gap here, sparkulators. This one calls for 40. Yep, gapped. Oofta, it's hot. I got a back crack waterfall like you wouldn't believe, and don't you go chasing it. I got to get all these leaves, 3 decades of stuff in here, out because I'm starting to smell burning leaves. And we don't want a fire going down the highway. I mean, if you're in park, that's fine, but down the highway seems just a little aggressive. There's a lot of spiders in here. Get out of there. I should start bringing some canned air or something. That'd be smart. Don't do it then. Well, for the air filtration, all I got is this used no-name brand. So we'll put that in. Then I can tie up these fuel lines a little bit better. Maybe we go up over the snout here. Huh? Oh, is it jammed in there already? Well, sure. That looks good. And maybe over here to the PS line. Yep, confirmed. That's fine. Hook that thing up. Some sort of alien tube. Well, I don't know. We never really technically checked the transmission fluid. Checked? No, we did. So, I think all we got to do now is get the steering wheel on, pack up, and just jam it on the highway, I guess. Huh. Did this used to be teal? Couldn't have been. Primer. These are juicy ants. Let me sit down. The guy was about 14 seconds away from, you know, can I just put a vice grips on here? But then when I was wallering around, I think I found the nut to it. Yep, I did. Whoops. So we gotta align it now. Yeah, a little to the left. Okay, so that looks good. Right there. Throw this on. Yeah, good enough. Well, got a jack, 2 bad leaking tires, toolkit, a little air compressor, and my wallet. Car's been off the road for 30 years. We're just gonna, you know, go jam it right out there in traffic and see what happens. Well, I just changed my pocket computer to avoid highways. These tires ain't gonna take 70, 80 miles an hour, so when they blow out, I'd like to be going 55. This is the best way to travel. Spend your money at the gas stations and buying sandwiches and t-shirts at all those small mom and pop shops. Plus, you get to see so much more cool stuff. Here we go. Oh yeah. Get the key out of the way. All right. This steering wheel is by far the worst out of any vehicle I own. Speedometer stuck on 75, appropriate. Trip stopped at 7777. What are the odds? 1 in 396,712. Pretty cool. Moving under its own power and going on the road for the first time in 30 years. The steering wheel steers it. Brakes aren't as good as previously thought, but it woes it up a little bit. I got the steering wheel completely upside down. That's fine. Just gotta ease our way out of this yard here. So now that I'm going avoid highways, it's actually 100 miles and a little over 2 hours to the shop. Something was already dragging and not sounding good in the back. We'll ignore it for now. Just made a popping noise. I think that's the Maxtrack, not very happy. Oh, it's got, you know, enough brakes. There we go, on the road. Hindsight being 13/24, I should have put some gauges in this thing. Oh man. Bad scraping, rubbing in the right rear. Just past the cop at that 4-way. There are so many leaves and debris flying off of this thing. It's kind of nice. I don't got to clean off the rest on the way home. Whoa. You really got to steer on it. Ooh. Is that an axle bearing? Probably. Can it make 100 miles? Gonna find out. Every time I hit a bump, there's stuff falling out of the ceiling. I got this Mustang just right up in my teeth. Well, go around then, for Pete's sake. I'm doing the speed limit. All right, let's see if we can get her up to 50. 47! That is a nice looking, what is he carrying? Dual shovels? I definitely smell foliage burning underneath the hood, but I'm gonna wait until my feet get hot. I did bring a fire extinguisher that's, well, it's in the orange. I think it means it's halfway good. Well, the transmission seems to be shifting just fine and it's running decent. So basically it comes down to when is it going to overheat and when are these two tires going to pop? That's fine. At least it's not 97 degrees out today. Maybe 98 by now. I don't know. It's really hot though. Grinding intensifies. Drinker side rear, it's not good. Can't quite pick up on what it is, but almost sounds like a bearing or I don't know from up here. Let's see what happens. We're just gonna keep going. I got a brake dragging back there for sure. I don't know if there's anything additional to that. I don't think it's overheating yet. Doesn't smell hot. I don't smell any antifreeze. If I keep these two tires aired up somehow. Oh, gas check. Well, we're 1/3 of a whatever kind of jug that is down. And we're only 8 miles in. Okay. Doesn't seem to be returning any fuel. That's not good. So we might be gassing up a little bit more than anticipated, but that's okay. They're all over the dash. They're crawling on me. They might be a little upset. Cruising at about 50. I've used half my jug of gas, nowhere near halfway. My phone's at 3%. I got a charger but no way to charge it. Might try to swing in somewhere and cool down the back neck for a little bit. Charge it late the phone. Fill her up with some gas and then go again. No idea what town I'm in, but I swung into this little tavern here and cooled down my neck a little bit, plugged in the phone. I need the Jeep system on it, you know, because I don't know how to get back, basically. Well, that was charged late and I topped off this little tank thing. Looked at the rotten tires for just a millisecond. I didn't want to stare at them. There's no big chunks or anything coming off. Where did my key go? Oh, here it is. Let's see if it restarts. I can't believe these tires haven't popped yet. Yeah. It's making me just a little nervous there. All right. Let's hit the road. Riley. Auto store. Ooh. Something like that. Anyway, there was one back there is what I'm saying. Here we go. getting some very bad grindage, squeakage, and pull, and the captain's side front up here, very reminiscent of a wheel bearing. Normally I check on them and most of the time just repack them. Didn't even look this time. And that might just come back and bite me. I don't know yet. It's not by any means correct or safe, but it's what I had. Nice old square body. While we're making it, looks like 30 miles. Last little stint here. I don't know if you guys can hear that squeaking. But that is pending wheel bearing going out. I don't know if we're gonna make it. I don't have a wheel bearing. I don't have any grease. We're just gonna, you know, come on, old girl. I'm trying to save you here. For Pete's sake. Just applied the brake pedal to see if it changed when I hit the brakes. And I have 0 brakes. The pedal goes all the way to the floor. So, I either popped the line or it was just low on juice to begin with, and I pumped what it had through the system because I never even looked. So right now I'm downshifting the slow. Oh, we got a stop sign. The good news is I have some really twisty, turny roads coming up close to my shop over the river there. We'll definitely want brakes. There's no auto parts stores over here that I know of. So we're just gonna have to ease. She's just kind of falling apart on me. Yep. The wobble and the shake was getting bad enough. Pulled off the side here. So I can feel the heat from this wheel, but you can hear it. It's, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna make it on that. Missing a lug up there too. Thought maybe one of these wheels was coming loose or going flat. I don't know, they seem to be on there. I just checked the master. It's got a little bit of juice in it. Looks like Coca-Cola. That's fine. I think what's probably happening is this wheel bearing going out is so insanely hot that it's heating the discolator and the stop pads. And I just got a case of the old brake fade going on. Big time. We're just gonna hang out here for a few. Enjoy the views. Beautiful day. What do we got coming? Something cool? Nope, definitely not. My last water. Oof da may. Bubbling just a little bit in there. Might be a touch warm, just pulling in and turning it off, but I don't see anything leaking or any fires. All looks pretty normal, other than the blow-by coming out of the air filtration system. What does this thing do? I don't know. But I guess we'll just fire it up. It's been sitting long enough. Well, there's definitely something else going on with the brakes. They've been cooling for a while and I dumped the rest of my water on it. I got nothing. I think the master cylinder just went out. That's bad news, fellers. So now I've got to decide what I'm going to do here, because I've got twisty turnies and hills and I got to go across the river with no brakes. I just don't think that's going to be possible. And I don't know of any parts stores on the way to grab a master. I'm trying to think. I'll Google machine it, see if we can get somewhere, but this might be the first time I've ever had to just roll one in the ditch, and I'd say leave the keys in it, but it's just a headliner bow. I don't think anybody would probably figure that out. Coming up here, I got to take a right on Highway 243, which is how you cross from Minnesota over to Wisconsin. It's a really, really, really steep grade coming down across that border, and it comes right into town into a four-way. if I do attempt this, it will literally be the dumbest thing I have ever done in my life, probably. And I'm just trying to figure out how I would do that. The only thing I could think of is go down it in first gear. Come on around, feller. I can't go fast. Go down it in first gear. And if it starts swinging this engine faster than it'll go, that'll blow that up. And if I get to that point, I'm just going to have to put her into the guardrail and ruin a Riviera. So I don't know yet. I think we'll just get on up there and see if we're going to jump or not.
Forever young, or am I faking? On the tip of my tongue, there's a sarcasm waiting for you.
Well, the guy sat here on the top of the hill for quite a while, letting the brakes cool down, contemplating. There's a doe right there. Huh. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go for it. Traffic's not too bad. And I'm gonna go in first, and I got a little bit of rear brake, so I think I can drag the rears. And I don't want anybody getting hurt, so I'm fully prepared to put this thing into the guardrail. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna ease like this. Yeah, there's just a Scotia rear. Might be enough, might be enough. Boy, look at the wobble on this. It's kind of relaxing. It's almost like a back massage. No, now it's just annoying. You know, not so much to go in the town car right now. It needs a little bit of work. So far the gear's doing its job. I haven't even had to attempt to touch the pedal, which really wouldn't do much. And it probably doesn't look steep to y'all, but if you're from this area, you know the hill I'm talking about. In the winter, this thing is a doozy. There's cars just every direction you can think of. It's gonna get steeper up around this corner, then it drops right down into that river. But we should get a really nice view this time of day. I think we made it, fellers. We're getting towards the bottom here. First gear held the car. Yes. Yes. Stop. Foot's to the floor. You hear that grinding? Let's see if it'll stop. Ah, there it is. Complete. You just got to plan way ahead. And I'm going to try not to stop here. I'm just going to swerve. About 15 miles, we'll be at the shop. Well, I'm going to take that back. Just blew a tire and went sideways. Guess where? Right in front of the country club. I'm just gonna ease into the front row right over here. And, you know, work on my classic car. There we go, right in the shade. Oh yeah, no brakes. Park. Still running though. Could be worse. Now, I think I do need a key to get into the trunk, don't I? Yeah, right back there. She went kaplowy. Swerved on in here. Man, we got close. So close. But when they're that dry rotted, it's just not a whole lot you can do. I'm surprised this front one hasn't gone. Anytime you blow a tire, just be thankful if it ain't the steer tire. Well, I'm gonna get this other bad one out of the trunk and throw that on quick. See if we can make it the rest of the way. I think I see the problem. It's not so much here as it is right there. And maybe also there. And here. And that one. But drums have now unseized from all the heat. That's good. So this was the really sketchy one on the drinker's front. And we'll just throw this one on. I should find the date code on here just for giggles. But it's only got to make it a handful of miles. And we'll be good. My forearms are sweating. I didn't think that was a thing. Stuff's getting exciting. I better put the seatbelt on, actually. Pick up the safety a little bit. All right. Key. Come on. Timing's a little off. Did you hear that? I did. Ooh. Yeah, she dieseled. A little too far advanced on the timing. That tire had air in it. Oh crap, there's no brakes. There you go, just neutral drop it. All right, we better get out of here. There's a lot of khaki shorts and expensive shoes. Getting a little bit nervous. But I don't see any Corvettes though. First gear, also known as brake applied. Yeah, here we go. I'm trying to feed it onions. No. Oh. Just quit on me. Bad idea. Let's see if we can fire it up. Going down the road here. Oh yeah. Come on. There we go. After the long transmission slip, we're back on the way. Come on, slow down. Slow down. Oh, dang it. Well, that worked. Bin relocate. Guy had to mow under it anyway. Shuts the car down in a hurry. Hey, we made it. Thanks for riding shotgun with me. 1971 Buick Riviera Boat-tail. It's a beautiful machine. Needs a little work, but you know what? For being off the road for 30 years, this thing started impressively quick. It's not smoking anymore. I mean, we don't have brakes and wheel bearing, some other stuff, but seems to run pretty good. So now I really don't know what to do with this. To be honest, the reason I bought it was I was going to take the big block, the Turbo 400, and this rear end because it's a great combo. And I was going to put it in my 56 Buick that I just got back from Texas. But now that it's a running, driving car as a whole, I might just clean it up and flip it. There's so many people out there looking for a boat tail. So I don't know. You guys bleep bloop it. Do we clean it up a little bit? Buffalate on the paint, fix on the interior, get it running real nice and flip it? Or do we really want to hack into a boat tail to get the drivetrain out? The reason I'm struggling with it is I'd hate to sell a boat tail as just a chassis, rolling chassis, but I don't know. You guys help me out. Thanks guys for watching, appreciate it very much. We'll see you next time.